Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another edition of the AFC South Roundtable, powered by BetUS. That is right. I promised you that we were going to be giving you our divisional standings. I made each and every single one of the panelists submit their predictions for how the AFC South is going to turn out in 2024. Please, as you hear this, please feel free to engage in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if one of these panelists has absolutely lost their mind, or let us know if they are on the right track. I do want to let everybody know, once again, this is powered by BetUS, hands down the best sports book on the face of the planet. And they're not giving you like this cutesy promo like, we're going to match one of your deposits. No, not BetUS. They are matching 125% of your first three deposits, all the way up to $2,000. All right, folks, as you scroll down, we already have week one lines right in front of your face, staring at you, telling you to drop the hard-earned cash and win some damn money. Go ahead and check out BetUS. Link is in description. All of the lines are out right now. The best place to be when it comes into NFL and sports betting in general. Let's go around the table, see how everybody is feeling this wonderful evening. Starting off with Derek. Derek, how you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm just keeping an eye on this thunderstorm that's rolling right through right now. So I apologize if the audience sees me looking this direction a little bit.
No issue at all, man. Stay safe. I will be sure to get you out of here as soon as possible. Rossi, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing good. I cannot wait to chop it up with all these guys come season time for sure.
Oh, man. Ruben.
Man, I'm doing good. No rain here, but it is freaking hot, man. You walk outside, you're going to faint, but excited to be here. H-Town to John. Let's get it.
Dalton, last but not least, man. What's up?
I'm ready, man. I think this video is going to be a little bit spicy, so I'm ready to get into it.
Oh,
it's definitely going to be interesting, and I cannot wait. Folks, like I said, I did ask each and every single one of these panelists to submit their divisional rankings. We are going to give them the floor and explain their reasoning behind it. And since Dalton previewed the spiciness of this episode, we're going to start off with Dalton's.
Let's go, baby.
Dalton,
Let's freaking go. Okay.
Take the floor. Talk us through it. Come on.
Well, look, this offseason, I'll be honest, man, I saw a lot better things from the Jaguars than I thought I would see. First of all, I mean, Trevor Lawrence in this last game, he played 2 drives, and granted, it was against second and third stringers, but it wasn't even that. It was more so the types of throws that he was making and the arm angles he was making and the rolling out and the standing on the pocket and making the throws. And also, I went to a joint training camp practice, and guys, he completely tore apart the Buccaneers defense. And a part of that was the help of Brian Thomas Jr. I really think that Brian Thomas Jr.'s acclimation period is not going to be very long. I think he's going to hit the ground running in this offense. I mean, he's had 3 catches in this preseason, 1 long ball on the sideline, 1 toe drag on the sideline, and 1 horizontal gain. I mean, he had the most yards per reception of any wide receiver in the preseason this year. He was absolutely killing it. So I think that the Jaguars finished 12-5. And number 2, I have the Houston Texans. And look, the Texans have a good team, but I know a lot of, power rankings have them, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think they're there yet. I don't think they're there yet. I think that, while we look at different items like, obviously CJ Stroud going into year 2, we look at some of the additions like Stephon Diggs and Donnell Hunter. I do have some worries. What's the interior of the offensive line going to look like? I think they're starting like 2 rookies in the secondary. There are some items where I feel like while they're going to be a good team, I don't think they've arrived in the area where they're going to win, 13, 14, 15 games just yet. But, I do have them finishing at number 2 in the AFC South. And, with the Titans, people I do think are overlooking the Titans. I think they brought in a good head coach for the situation, and I think that they were honestly better than what they put out last year, because I think that when you look at them, they had a head coach who basically given up. I mean, he had all the body language and even look at his press conferences, like he did not look into it at all. Like you could tell he was so mentally checked out. And when you look at this team, it's not like a normal team at this point, because I think most teams, and maybe this benefits the Titans, maybe it does not, but a lot of teams, if they were in the Titan situation last year, they would cut everybody, They would try to trade off whatever type of players had any kind of trade value. And then they would, try to finish maybe 3, 4, 5 wins and try to, draft the quarterback. But they didn't do that. They went out and, they traded for L'Jarius Sneed. They went and signed Calvin Ridley. They made different moves that didn't look like a team that's trying to not win games in 2024. And I honestly do think that Will Levis is a decent quarterback. I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. I know a lot of people don't talk about him very much, but I think that he has some kind of like it factor that maybe not the best practice quarterback, but I feel like he could probably turn it on in the regular season. And I have the Colts at number 4. And, I think that the Colts are a team that drafts really well. I just worry that I never think that Chris Ballard does enough in free agency. And that was my big thing about them. I thought they should have done a better job about bringing in NFL vets. I do worry about their defense. I don't like Gus Bradley's defense was a really good defense 10 years ago, but the NFL, it evolves and it grows. And right now it just feels like they're running an outdated defense. And, I worry about their ability to cover. And then, right now, Anthony Richardson, until Anthony Richardson plays a full season, I can't expect him to play a full season because ever since back at, when he was at the University of Florida, he wasn't playing healthy games. So I feel like they finished 7-10. So these are my AFC South standings, and I'm sticking by him, baby. Lock it.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, guys. Listen, as we go through these lists, please feel free to express your complaints of previous panelist lists if you differ in opinion by any stretch of the imagination. Moving on, I did obviously want to start off with Dalton because all of these other ones are pretty much the same for first place. But second, third, and fourth is a complete carousel, and I absolutely love it. So, with that being said, oh, God, we're going to start off with Derek. Derek, explain it to us, baby. Talk to us.
Well, the Houston Texans leading the way at 11-6. I'll tell you what, their beginning part of their schedule is relatively favorable. It's those last 8 games that are really going to wonder a lot of things because, they're going to play some really good teams in the last 8 games. They're legitimately playing like 6 different teams that are going to be playing most likely in the playoffs. So there's a lot of different ways that it could go down at the end of the season. But to start the year, I think they got the upper hand on Chicago, on the Vikings. I think they're going to win at least one against the Jags. I think they can pull off a good couple games here early on, especially with a couple of their home games. So I think they'll finish out with the winner at 11-6. I do have my Colts being up there with the Jags tied at 10-7 this year. Like I said, the Colts are the same team from last year that had a quarterback that was afraid to throw the ball down the field, a running back that is now back that was hurt over half the year, and a defense that, albeit didn't see any kind of like significant upgrades from the secondary's perspective, but they're all a year older from the fact that they were all extremely young. They are all going to learn from this, and they learned from last year. And as long as we don't get killed by the injury bug in the secondary, I have a feeling that our defense will still be able to hang around and still be able to get us to win games. So have us at 10-7, and the same with the Jags. Let's face it. The reason why they lost their place in the division last year, their quarterback got hurt. So as long as their quarterback remains healthy and their overall roster remains fine, they'll still stick around and handle their business. But like I said, I finished with the Titans at 7-10. Like I said, I still have the most question marks about them and the direction of their team. There's going to be a lot of things that could change. And they have a new coach. They have an entirely new defense for the most part. You got a whole bunch of new weapons, and practically your entire team is virtually different. So, this could definitely work, but I would argue that the Titans have one of the tougher schedules amongst the AFC South besides the Texans. So I'll have the Titans finishing out 7-10, and that is my AFC South standings.
Damn, look at that. And the Colts have finished in second place. Now, Derek, is that enough for a playoff spot? For the
Even
Colts?
then, I still have no idea, to be honest with you. It might be, but I mean, 10-7 is like it might be the bare minimum, to be honest. I mean, that's about the worst that you can get if you're going to be the Colts to try to get into the playoffs.
We absolutely love it. Moving on. I mean, we got to go with Titans Rossi right here. Look at that. 12-5, 11-6, 9-8 for the Titans, and 9. Wow. All right. Very generous, very kind, very non-confrontational prediction here. Talk to us, Rossi.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the Texans are going to be the Texans. I think C.J. Stroud is I don't think he's going to go through the sophomore slump. Like, I think C.J. Stroud is the real deal. And I do. I mean, you look at the Texans roster, look at what they added, look at what they've done. I mean, I think right now they are the Commanders in the division. They are, I think they could be a 12-win team. And I can't argue with it at the moment. The Jaguars, I think they're going to have a pretty good season. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I think he's going to step up. He's going to be healthy, and the Jaguars have had a good offseason. I think they still have it to win games. Like, I still think that they have the roster, they have the nucleus to do it. And a lot of that, I think, depends on Trevor Lawrence, if he can be consistent and move the football and them play good defense and win games. And I think they will. The Titans and the Colts, I look at the Titans and the Colts not as same teams. Obviously, the Titans have a totally different new team, like Derek said, but I look at with Anthony Richardson, I'm not one of those like people who are Anthony Richardson haters, who are one of those Titans fans who saw him in a preseason game throw some picks or saw him in a camp practice. And I'm like, oh yeah, Anthony Richardson sucks, because Will Levis, he threw a lot of picks in training camp as well. And I look at Anthony Richardson and Will Levis as kind of comparable at the moment. And what I mean as far as that goes, not necessarily in play style, but in where they're at in their careers. Like, I think the Colts will go as kind of Anthony Richardson's goes. I think the Titans will go as Will Levis goes. I don't see Will Levis and Anthony Richardson both setting the NFL on fire this year. I see them progressing. But as I see the Colts roster, from what they did, they didn't do much over the offseason. And I just see them both kind of, the Titans and them kind of being matched up, kind of the same type of record, 9-8, that type of thing. Now, if you look at the Titans from last season, they won 6 games. Like, I think if you base it on the roster alone, they are 2 to 3 games better than last year's roster. Their depth, their wide receivers, all that in itself. Now, the question is, will they gel? Can they put it together? But I think that the Titans and the Colts are going to be battling for that last spot.
Very, very interesting. You heard it here first from our good friend Titans Rossi. Now, right before we end up hearing from Ruben and his divisional standings, we need to give one more giant shout out to one of our good friends over at Shynasty.
So now you'll probably notice that half of our representatives at Roundtable Sports always have their undies in a bunch when it comes to their favorite NFL team. And listen, I'm sure that they're getting sick of that feeling where they're feeling a wedgie rather than a warm hug. Maybe they want to say goodbye to uncomfortable chafing and hello to the softest underwear they will ever wear. Folks, let me introduce you to Shynasty.com, the underwear company that is here to revolutionize the underwear game. Let's be honest, life is too short for boring undies. These are so soft, y'all. You won't even realize you're wearing them. With the moisture-wicking technology and a perfect fit that never rides up, you'll quite literally feel like your balls are floating on a cloud all day long. And look at some of these absolute designs. And get this, folks, if you use our code at checkout, you can get an additional 15% off your order, RTS15. Remember, supporting our sponsors is a way to support us over at Roundtable Sports. So stop neglecting your balls and give them the gift of Shinesty underwear. Link is in description.
About this. Walk us through it, man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start from the bottom up. I have the Colts last, and it's not really, throwing a shot at Derek. It's just because right now, not only can you not rely on Anthony Richardson to stay healthy, but Jonathan Taylor hasn't been healthy the past 2 years either as well. And if either one of those dudes go out, I think it's just going to be a problem for the Indianapolis Colts offense. Their defense is not good enough to shut out other people. That secondary is really weak, and I think it all comes down to, can AR5 be the guy? They also have a lot of youth in that wide receiver room, and I just don't see a veteran in there that's gonna, hey guys, let's calm down when things get rowdy. Maybe it's someone from the offensive line like Nelson, but there's a lot of youth. You're relying on AR to be healthy. You're relying on Jonathan Taylor to be healthy. That's going to be a tough task. I have them at 4. With Tennessee, they're exciting. They have a lot of new pieces, and the question is, can they all gel together? That's been the theme of today's episode. And, they have a lot of veterans. So I think every position group has a veteran from Tennessee. So the Houston Texans did that 2 years ago when they were starting their rebuild as well. Can Will Levis be the guy? And his new weapons have looked good in the preseason. Calvin Ridley as well as Tony Pollard. There's been a lot of smack talk between us and Tennessee. That's going to be real fun. I have them there at number 3. I have the Jags at number 2 because I think people are forgetting that before Trevor Lawrence went down with that injury, they were running away with the division. And they add Brian Thomas Jr., who I was a big fan of, and it's just going to be a healthy quarterback. And now his weapons consist of a really good pass catching tight end. Then you added that deep threat that Derek mentioned earlier. They're going to be real good. I'm a big fan of Travis Etienne as well. I think their defense, they added some help on the D line. They added some help in the secondary as well. I think bringing in Darnell Savage. I have them there at 2. They have experience. And it's just going to be real fun because before going out, like I said, they were running away with the division, and we split with them 1-1. And then I have, Houston at 1. Rossi said that, his new additions add, 2 to 3 wins. And, when you add a Joe Mixon, a Stephon Diggs, a Daniil Hunter, how many wins does that add to you? Hopefully you stay healthy on both sides of the ball. You have 2 rookies starting in your secondary. It's going to be fun in the H.
Folks, I will tell you what, we are all looking forward to week 1. Again, please sound off in the comment section. Let us know your predictions of how the divisions are going to fall by the time the season concludes. But football is back, baby. Next week, we are going to be back giving full game previews, each and every single take from each and every single one of our panelists all across Roundtable Sports. Let's go around the table and have everyone say their farewells. Derek, go ahead.
Yep, another great episode. Proud to be on here with you guys. And hey, one step closer to week 1, baby. I can't wait.
Titans Rossi.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for the season. Like, Dalton said, I might have said in a previous show, but all this talk from last season, all this stuff is over, man. It's time to get the regular season going where we can really dig in and see what our teams have to offer.
Ruben.
Man, not only was the preseason over for the NFL, but it was over for us here at the Round Table. Now we talk about games that matter. I can't freaking wait. Boys, I'll see you next Tuesday.
And the energy is about to be ridiculous. Dalton, last but not least.
Yeah, it'll be fun to not do as much projecting, and we can revisit what these projections were in January. But I'm excited. I'm excited to go 1-0, one game at a time. And then, man, it's gonna be lit over here. If you guys aren't already tuned into the AFC South Roundtable, you're getting now because it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Sounds like a plan. Folks, thank you so much. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications. Always know that this show and network is powered by BetUS, matching 125% of your first 3 deposits all the way up to $2,000. Guys, take advantage of this deal. All right, it's the best on the market. Link is in description. Until then, we will see you next week. Same place, same time.